Hello, everybody. This is DMart95 from DansGarageTalk.com, and today we're going to be doing a video on how to assemble the Dr. Pulley HIT clutch. This is a 60 degree for a GY6 Chinese scooter type, a 150cc. Commonly found 157 QMJ, and however this one will be installed on a Tata Racing engine that's got a 67 millimeter piston and it's a 232. It's going to be a wicked motor. So anyways, the first step when you're going to install one of these is you got to assemble it, and there's many ways you can do that. You can buy the parts individually, or you can do what I'm doing and you need a donor clutch. Now the first step is you got to take your donor clutch apart so you can get access to, you're going to need your pulley, which this is going to replace this, and you're going to need the locking nut, and inside you're going to need the spring or use a different contra spring, and also you're going to need the seat springs, and I'll get to that as soon as I get this open. So the first step is this is what I use. This device right here, it's just a clutch holder. Basically it helps you take apart your clutches. One thing I should note right here, this is a safety feature. Please pay attention. This nut right here is how you take the clutch apart. However, there's a spring in there. That spring holds this under pressure. If you take that spring off, or if you take this nut off without properly securing this down, this thing will shoot up. And if you're leaning over it, wrenching on it, it's going to shoot up and bust you in the face. So use extreme caution. That's the whole point of this thing. See the big bar right here? It holds force down on this metal plate. Will not allow you to get your face all smashed up. So anyways, first step in disassembling it is you got to remove your clutch nut. Now before you put it in this device, I always throw these in my vise out in the shop. I put some wood up in there to soften the blow so I don't wind up smashing this thing. And then give this a good turn. Turn it about halfway, or just a quarter to a half turn. Just break the initial seal. You got to loosen it up. Then once you're done, come over here and take that off. I'll be right back as soon as we get that off there. Alright, so once you get your nut removed, all you're going to do, if you have one of these, or however you do it, a lot of people hold their feet on this or the other side and do it. I like the safety feature of this. Just all you do is you back this out and you'll see this raise. And this is what it looks like once you back that up. See, the nice way about doing this is it's totally eliminates the safety factor, or eliminates the risk. And once you get that up, it just comes right out of there real nice. Bloop, 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 bloop. Ta-da, and that's that. So that's how you remove that and get access to your pulley, which we'll need for the clutch. Have to do all that work for that right there. Sorry about the glare. So, and the spring goes in between there. So okay, we'll be right back. Alright, before I go on, I just wanted to do a quick interlude here and explain. I've had a few people ask, about the pricing, and Dr. Pulley is about one of the most expensive brands you can buy, but there's a reason why. But Dr. Pulley, it's got a lot of benefits. Some of them, it's got a much stronger grip force. It doesn't slip nearly like the other clutches do. You don't lose power at takeoff. I mean, it really has got good takeoff, and you don't wind up sacrificing at top end either. It's got better efficiency, and in addition, hill climbing is where you're really going to see it. You know, when you're out there traveling. And when you're selecting them, they've got 3 different ones for the scooters that are out there. The 35 degree, the 45 degree, and the 60 degree. The 30 degree is or 35, I'm not exactly sure. It's the one you're going to use for your typical GY6. The 45 degree, it's the one that you're going to be using pretty much if you've done some kind of modification like a big bore kit or something like that. And the way you have it set up is a high RPM. Now, if you're going for a big bore kit and want it to engage at normal RPMs, you're going to want to go with the 60 degree, which that's what this is right here. It's the 181401 125G 60 degree clutch. Alright, so anyways, I just wanted to tell you some of the benefits of the HIT brand. The first, you know, you got your set of clutch springs, but in addition, I don't know if you've got see that blue spring right there? There's 3 additional blue springs. This is often referred to as a double spring clutch. And as what happens is your first set of clutch springs engage kind of like your normal clutch on a normal scooter. You know, once you get to your desired RPM, the clutch pads will start expanding out and reach inside and grab the surface of your bell in here. Well, the second clutch set of springs in here, these are called your pillow springs. You've got your clutch springs and your pillow springs, and that's something else. Dr. Pulley includes a full tuning range of both pillow springs and clutch springs right in the kit, which is incredibly awesome. But anyways, your first spring, your first set engaged just like your typical clutch would, pretty much. However, when you get higher in your RPM band, you're going to have your second set engaged, and is what that does is that actuates your pins, your grip force pins, which applies more pressure, and instead of allowing the clutch to be able to slip, it pretty much locks it into position. So you've got your first set where you start having your clutch in, which is where it starts engaging and it's kind of slippery, and then as you increase your RPM, it will make greater contact, and that's how a typical clutch works. Well, with the HIT, it'll do the same thing. It'll start with your clutch in, go up, and then once you get to your desired second RPM range, your pillow springs will jump into action and pretty much lock it into place. So that's really, really sweet. You have 0 clutch slippage. I mean, and that's why, you know, when you're out there out and about and you hit a hill or whatever like that, you're not going to have anything better than a HIT clutch. These things are expensive, but they are totally worth it in my opinion. I've got 2 of them, one for a 191 and one for a 232. So anyways, let's continue on with assembling this thing. Alright, so now that I have my clutch pulley, my donor, is what I'm going to be doing with this one is I'm going to be removing this clutch spring seat. It's a seat for your spring, that's what it's called, and adding one that's bearing loaded. I've got a couple of videos on that, one for the Hoka and one for the NCY, and I'll be right back as soon as I get this sleeve pulled off and get the new one installed. See you in a second. Just a quick note here. I pulled off this spring seat, and I don't know if you can tell in the picture, but it is quite where the spring would sit. It is quite bent. This is a brand new clutch pulley. It's a brand new clutch assembly imported directly from China. This is the kind of stuff they put on our scooters. I can't believe that. That would eventually cause a failure. Over something as stupid as a little seat like this. So anyways, I'm actually quite glad that I'm putting this Hoka in there. So I'll be right back as soon as that's in there. Just thought I'd show you the difference here real quick between on the left right here is the Hoka, and as you can see, you load it with bearings, and then it has this other half. This side is where the spring will sit. This side's got a channel in there for the bearings. Simply slide it on over top, and that's your new spring seat right there versus what you get from China right here. So once you get that taken care of, here, let me show you an example. Your spring sits in that, and when the clutch engages, it starts to turn. Then bearings make that extremely nice. Makes a smooth transition. Versus over here, just metal. Metal goes down, and you can have spring slippage, and if it's bent like this one, it's going to cause a wobble and not work right. So anyways, I'm glad I got this Hoka for this one, and I applied all new grease to this, and now I'm going to slide the new spring seat on. Okay, so now that I got the bearing loaded spring seat in there, Dr. Pulley includes some, they have the washers in the diagram. It's basically a good seat for the seat, or a washer for the seat, that when inserted doesn't, oh, I see, when inserted it basically cushions the spring. It acts as some kind of washer. However, it's not letting it go all the way down into the spring seat. Let me investigate. Okay, they say no two scooter installs are alike, and this is going to be one example, because with this little washer that Dr. Pulley provides, and they provide 3 of them in there. I don't know if that's to change them out over the long term, or if they're spacers, or exactly what they're for. They could just be for a different application, and they include them. But when I had them in my spring seat right here, like so, like in one of these, it was not allowing the clutch to sit the spring to sit properly. So I decided against using it in this particular one over here. Okay, so a little more experimenting here. I was able to put one of the spacers in there, or washers. I think that's used as a cushion. Every little cushion or support like that helps, so I wanted to use it. But the problem was coming from, I have here a 2000 RPM Contra manufactured by Tata, and the diameter is, it fits just fine in the stock spring, but in this Hoka seat, it fits fine in the stock seat, but in the Hoka seat over here, the diameter's a little bit too big, and it doesn't properly seat. So for right now, I just grabbed a stock spring to finish the setup on this one, because I had planned on doing that anyways. Now I'm going to have to get a different 2000 RPM clutch for a different setup for my second one. But anyways, the reason I'm not editing this out is because you guys may run into a similar situation, and I just wanted you to see my trial and errors. So I'm going to continue moving on. As you see, you put your spring in your seat spring. And the next step is you put the clutch on there, compress it down, lock it on with the nut that goes on there, and then you have a clutch setup. So we'll be right back in just 1 sec. Alright, now as you can see, I've got it loaded into my clutch compressor, and I have the threads sticking through. I'm going to apply a small amount of Loctite on the threads and put this nut on there. And once you have this tightened down, there's what she looks like. There's her completed Dr. Pulley HIT clutch assembly. And of course, it comes with a clutch bell. Very nice. Very excited to try this kit out. And that's how you assemble it. So if you have any questions, or just want to chat, ask about specs or whatever, hit me up at the forum, www.dansgaragetalk.com. We'll also be carrying some of these items in our store at shop.martinmopeds.com. And we offer all our services at martinmopeds.com. Okay, hope to see you guys at the new forum, and I'll come back with a performance review of this. Have a good one.